Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka Mazuma TV, back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. Back at y'all with another live. I hope everybody had a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive day. We got some things that we need to discuss currently going on in the boxing world. We're gonna speak about Bob Arum successfully manipulating Shakur Stevenson, and all eyes being on Abdullah Mason. Man, it seems like he's becoming a big topic in the boxing world because it seems like a lot of people can't stop speaking about him, whether it's negative or positive, man. So we definitely gonna speak about this. Shout out to everybody that's in the building so far. If you could hit the like button as soon as you come in, that'd be very much appreciated. Usually I have my camera on, guys, but I'm chilling in bed right now, man, not feeling too good. From like a, fatigue standpoint, not health-wise. I'm just feeling real tired today. So I just wanted to kick back in bed and just chop it up with the nation, man. Like I said, I hope everybody is doing well. And hitting the like button on the way in so we get that algorithm on the up, man. You see what I mean? There's a lot of things going on in the boxing world, shit, in the world in general, honestly. But you know what I mean? We gonna keep it boxing like we always do. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to the four people that's in the building. Let me make sure the audio is correct. Yeah, the audio is correct, man. So let's get them likes on the up. And shout out to everybody that's helped me get to the 2100 mark. You see what I'm saying? That was a huge accomplishment for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember back when I had just got 1K subscribers, and I was like, "Yo, man, I felt like I made it and shit." You see what I'm saying? So the fact that I'm at 2100 now, it just lets me know that I'm really climbing up the ladder, man, and I don't got nobody to thank but you guys. So thank you very much. Before I also get into this boxing conversation, I wanted to let you guys know that I have a new design, a new collection on MazumaMerch.com, man. Please go check it out, man. Even if y'all just getting a coffee cup, you know what I'm saying, a die cut sticker, whatever the situation is. I think like a die cut sticker is like $6, man. Coffee mug, probably like 15, man. Go check it out. It's a dope design. You know what I'm saying? Just, slowly but surely manifesting our dreams and having our own, like boxing facility. You know what I'm saying? So it's a dope little concept. Just speaking about the School of Boxing, Mazuma School of Boxing. You know what I mean? If y'all part of the nation, y'all part of the mob, go grab you a t-shirt, man. Go grab you a tank top. And I got a discount code. If you use the code NATION, you will get 10% off of anything that's on the website, man. So be on the lookout for that. It's only going to be available for a certain amount of time at 10% off. So please go check it out. Shout out to my boy Ralph. He says, salute Mazuma. What's going on, Ralph? Shout out to my boy Ralph, man. That's a good dude right there. Good brother, a real knowledgeable brother as well. In all honesty, man, shit, I don't see why he don't have his own YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? That's how I got Claymore Rain on his feet. You know what I'm saying? Telling Clay, like, yo, man, you a real knowledgeable dude. You need to get your channel going. And he just hit 1K not too long ago. So shout out to the boy Clay for, following through and, actually listening to the boy. You know what I mean? I got an eye for talent. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to the boy Tesla Marley. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? Haven't heard from you in a while. He said you are appreciated. You are appreciated as well, man. Your positive words always resonate with me. So thank you very much for coming through and showing love to the channel. You know what I'm saying? But all right, y'all. We got 7 people in the building, man. I'm gonna 10 people in the building right now. If you can hit the like button as soon as you come in, that'd be very much appreciated. Let's get into this conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm only gonna be on here for like an hour. You know what I mean? Let's speak about the whole situation that's going on with Shakur Stevenson. Oh no, I actually had put up a video earlier, but actually deleted it because looking back on it, it wasn't really boxing related. Yeah, I mean, I really wasn't saying shit in the video, honestly. I was just on some troll shit. But what's going on with y'all boy Ryan Garcia, man? Ryan Garcia out here wilding. He don't know how to act, and he out here saying some real nasty shit out here in these streets, man. I don't know who's a fan of Ryan Garcia, who rock with Ryan Garcia. There's a lot of people on here, especially these bootlickers that be on YouTube and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? How can they justify, his recent tweet? You see what I mean? He had reposted a picture of Keyshawn Davis and Teofimo Lopez, and this man threatened to, bite their balls off. You know what I'm saying? This is not cap. This ain't cap at all, bro. This is like an actual tweet from Ryan Garcia that's probably still up. You know what I mean? I don't know if he took the time to really read what he wrote and took it down. I'm sure it's still up. This man threatened to bite off Keyshawn Davis's and Teofimo Lopez's nuts, bro. Like, I don't know what type of time Ryan Garcia is on, but, Keyshawn and Teo, they need to get a motherfucking restraining order on that boy. He out here bugging the fuck out. That nigga, they need to be protected from abuse. You see what I'm saying? Ryan Garcia also getting arrested for vandalism and shit like that. And yo, Ryan Garcia got a lot going on. That boy need to be put in a motherfucking straitjacket and put in one of those like little sponge rooms or something, and get his phone taken away. That's the first thing you need to do. First thing you need to do is slap Ryan Garcia, right? He need a good, he need that, he need like a strong ass slap, like the slaps that you follow through. Y'all remember when Charlie Murphy was talking about how he slapped Rick James at the bar and shit, and brought his head down, his head hit the motherfucking bar table and shit like that. That's the type of slap that Ryan Garcia need. He need to follow through slap, not the one where you just, just a little. Nah, he need the follow through slap where you turn your whole body into the shot. So he needs that, you know what I mean, just to wake him the fuck up a little bit. Take his phone, put this motherfucker in a straitjacket, you know what I'm saying, and put him in one of those little sponge rooms and come back a better man, because that boy out here wilding. You know what I'm saying? He was saying the N-word and talking about he in the KKK. I mean, he out here openly, talking about having a steroid league that tested positive for PEDs, and you know what I mean. Now he's threatening to bite off grown men's scrotum. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what type time this boy on, and he was just calling Shakur Stevenson gay yesterday, and now he out here saying gay shit. So what the fuck, bro? You and Shakur on the same time based off your logic. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know how you could say you biting people nuts off and you still claim to be heterosexual. I don't understand that. And it's crazy that I'm even talking about this, but that's your boy Ryan Garcia, man. So, I mean, I just wanted to address that real quick. You know what I mean? That was the video I made earlier, but, I ain't really feel too good after uploading it. I was like, what the fuck I'm doing? So I just took the shit down, man. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Shout out to the boy Orlando Finney. What's going on? What's going on? He said, what's good, Mark and Mazuma Nation? What's going on, my brother? MB26, the ultimate troll on the channel. He says the champ is here. How does it feel being undefeated and king of debates? How does it feel? How did it feel waking up? You see how he be spicing motherfuckers, bro? You see how MB be spicing niggas? Listen, man. That was, you know what I mean? I'm not, that's regular shit. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing this. It just ain't been on camera. Whenever I step in the gym and we having debates, I'm cooking all the time. Trust me. This ain't nothing new. That's just your first time seeing it. You know what I mean? If I go on anybody's channel and I see they out here talking some bullshit, you already know I'm coming through on the live, and we going, if they allow me to speak, you know what I'm saying, niggas getting stepped on. It's really that simple. Shout out to my boy Orlando Finney. He said Ryan is wilding in these boxing streets. That's a fact. Yeah, he definitely wilding, but ain't nobody gonna tell him shit. Everybody around him scared of him. You know what I'm saying? He was about to beat up his girl because he caught her cheating or whatever the situation is, which is kind of confusing. You mad that this girl out here doing her own thing. Meanwhile, I mean, you out here, kissing on other bitches, and you out here living your own life, but you want this bitch to stay home and be loyal while you out here snorting coke and, drinking and being in whole different cities and shit. Like, I don't be understanding niggas' logic. You know what I'm saying? Like, men are typically logical, but Ryan Garcia, obviously, he got a couple screws loose in that little ass head he got. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Boxing Film. What up? What up? He said, sup, Mark? What up? What up, man? Is that you in the profile picture, Boxing Film? You got some fights on you? You an amateur? Let me find out, man. Let me find out you around the area. We might need some work, my nigga. What's going on? Talk to me. He said, love you as a brother, my guy. Glad to see you grow. All right, man. I don't know about all that love shit, but salute to you, my brother. Coffee Plant said, what's cooking? You know what I'm saying? We ain't really get into it yet. I was just talking about Ryan Garcia crazy ass and what he got going on and shit like that. But we about to get into the actual boxing topics in a little bit, man. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, let's get into it right now. You know what I'm saying? While, people still coming in and shit like that. Hit the like button as soon as y'all come in. 14 people, 14 likes. Very much appreciated, man. Thank you guys. Really, really appreciate it. So let's get into, the Bob Arum interview that just came out recently, man. I want to give the guys credit. So let me put this up real quick and shout him out because, Bob Arum doesn't really do interviews too much. So when he does do interviews, you definitely got to, listen to him. You see what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, let me see who conducted the interview. I got it sent to me in my DMs on Twitter. Shout out to the boy Ree. He sent me the DM. Damn, I don't know who conducted this interview. They didn't give the dude credit. But anyways, it's two small clips that my boy Ree has sent me, man. I want you guys to really listen to this. Oh, you got 16 amateur fights. Where you from and what weight class you in, my brother? Talk to me, man. Blue Hustle, man. What up? What up? Salute, Teach. What up? What up? All right, y'all definitely getting in the building. So let's speak about Bob Arum's recent comments on Shakur Stevenson. Obviously, Shakur Stevenson is one of the hottest topics in boxing right now. You know what I'm saying? He's just been in the news consistently, for a lot of negative things in all honesty and negative criticisms. But regardless, he's being spoken about. And I guess somebody had reached out to Bob Arum to do an interview to just hear what his thoughts were on Shakur Stevenson. Now that Shakur Stevenson is a free agent and no longer with Bob Arum at Top Rank. And Bob Arum has said some interesting things, man. One of the first things that he has said was he actually liked Shakur Stevenson's performance, and he didn't see why people are hating on it. You know what I'm saying? But don't just hear it from me. Let's hear it from Bob Arum himself, man. Let's check this out real quick. Hold on real quick. That's my audio in the background. All right, let's get to this part right here.
So I don't know what people are talking about. I really don't.
And that's exactly the point I was making. He stood right in front of Arum, and Arum.
No argument, of course. Yeah, I thought it was a very good performance. The one thing that these people don't understand is if they're looking for a knockout in every Shakur fight, they're not going to get it.
Exactly.
Shakur isn't a knockout guy, but he punches a lot, and he's a tremendous fighter as far as maneuvering. And I thought it was a very good performance.
Yeah, and this.
Okay, so that's the one part right there. Now, in terms of what I gotta say about that segment of Bob Arum's interview, I actually agree with him. You know what I'm saying? Like Shakur Stevenson, you know what I mean? If you going into a Shakur Stevenson fight expecting like an explosive knockout or a sensational knockout, highlight reel knockout, you know what I'm saying? Most likely you're not gonna get that. You know what I mean? You're really getting your hopes up for no reason. And at the end of the day, you're not gonna get everything. You can't have it all with, certain fighters. There's some well-rounded fighters out here like, Terrence Crawford, Jerron Ennis, where they could do a little bit of everything. But for the most part, there's people that specialize in certain departments. And if you want to see like a boxing exhibition, you want to see a boxing masterclass, then you look no further than Shakur Stevenson. If you want to see a great display of defense, then you look no further than Shakur Stevenson. However, when you sitting there and you expecting the man to, really go out there and put his paws on somebody, and then, come out with a sensational knockout, it's like you almost expecting too much from the dude. Now, I do understand that, Shakur Stevenson be talking about getting the knockouts and not getting them. But at the end of the day, boxing fans got to use their own mind. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like when Adrian Broner comes out here and he be like, oh, I'm focused this time. Oh, I'm focused this time. Oh, I'm going to beat his ass. I'm focused this time. And then, he give you the same shit. Boxing fans got to use their own mind sometimes. You know what I mean? And be like, all right, he's saying this, but, based off of his history, he's really doing this. You see what I'm saying? So I do agree with Bob Arum in that stance right there. You know what I mean? I thought Shakur Stevenson had a great performance as well. It was just that a lot of people were speaking about how they were underwhelmed with Shakur Stevenson's performance because he could have done more. And I thought it was absolutely valid. However, you know what I mean? I still think it was a good performance. It was a dominant performance. And Shakur Stevenson was pretty sharp this fight. I think the only thing that he really left out of the equation was the knockout or just letting his hands go in general, just being a little bit more just a little bit more volume, and that would have been just an overall sensational performance. You know what I mean? I think that was the only gap in his game, in all honesty. But that's what Bob Arum has said in this particular part of the interview. Glizzy said, what subject, Mazuma? I don't know exactly what you – I don't know what you – like, we speaking about Bob Arum thoughts on Shakur Stevenson in the latest interview that he had done. And if anybody knows who conducted this interview with Bob Arum, please let me know so I could give that person credit. You know what I mean? I don't like, speaking on things or showing people's videos or audio or anything like that when, you know what I mean, they work hard for that. You know what I'm saying? So if I could give him his props, you just let me know who he is. So the next following headline says, Bob Arum says he is still looking forward to resigning Shakur Stevenson to a new deal with Top Rank and hopes they could work it out. So that was something that really stood out to me. You know what I'm saying? And we definitely going to get into that. But let's hear it from Bob Arum himself.
Yep. So what's next for Shakur that you think?
Well, he's a free agent. Mm-hmm. But, I'm tight with with Jay Prince and the rest of the group around Shakur. And after he tests free agency, if he wants to come to Top Rank, well, we'd be delighted to re-sign him. I like the kid a lot.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys lock him up in a big deal.
He's a free agent now. It's like no different from a football player.
Yeah.
Guy finishes contract, free agent, he tests the market. That's what Shakur is doing. Hopefully, after he tests the market, come back to us.
Okay, so y'all heard it. So Bob Arum seems pretty optimistic, and he's been saying this. This isn't necessarily a surprise at all. I remember an interview that he had a little bit before the Haratunyan fight, and Shakur and Bob Arum was really optimistic about Shakur re-signing with Top Rank. You know what I mean? And that scratched that had a lot of people scratching their head because Shakur Stevenson himself didn't seem like he was too optimistic or enthusiastic about getting back with Top Rank. You know what I mean? As soon as he became a free agent, you know what I'm saying? I heard him say "fuck no" and the cigar talk interview and stuff like that. And you could tell that definitely hurt Bob Arum and Top Rank feelings because after that they went on to do little to no promotion for Shakur's fights. You know what I'm saying? And for that last fight, they kind of made him look bad with Tim Bradley on there talking about I got my coffee. Oh, I got my coffee. I got my coffee and my chicken. I got my chicken and my coffee. You know what I'm saying? We only 3 rounds in, and he talking about, good thing I got my coffee. Thank God I got my coffee. When the whole time that Shakur Stevenson was signed with Top Rank, they were saying that Tim Bradley was glazing Shakur. So the drastic change up isn't a coincidence at all. Tim Bradley is a company man, and he'll do anything to appease the higher up so he can continue getting paid. That's just things that we do know. But regardless, this ain't about Tim Bradley. That certain segment of that interview with Bob Arum, man, he seems pretty optimistic about Shakur re-signing. And I'm going to tell you guys why. For one, like Bob Arum said in that interview with dude, you know what I'm saying? I'm mad that I don't know his fucking name, man. Like I said, if anybody knows his name, please let me know. He has a great relationship with James Prince. A lot of the dudes that, end up being managed by Jay Prince typically go to Top Rank, and I don't think that's any coincidence at all. I mean, they got a good business relationship. And with them having a good business relationship and, Jay Prince being comfortable with doing business with Bob Arum, he could be very influential and at least persuading Shakur Stevenson to giving Bob Arum another shot at promoting his career. You see what I mean? So that's one thing right there. I can see why Bob Arum is optimistic about re-signing Shakur from that standpoint. You see what I mean? Another reason is because when you look over the landscape of the 135-pound division, Top Rank has a lot of access to the top dudes in the 135-pound weight class, or at least is capable of getting those big fights for Shakur Stevenson in the lightweight division. You know what I'm saying? Whether we talking about Baranchek, whether we talking about, obviously Lomachenko is tied up, reportedly he's tied up in a Gervonta Davis fight, but, he could always get that Gervonta Davis fight. You know what I mean? He could, not the Gervonta Davis fight. He could always get the Lomachenko fight if Lomachenko is with it. He could obviously get the winner between them if Bob Arum is willing to work out a deal with PBC and Gervonta and them, which I'm sure he is because Gervonta brings a lot of money to the table. It just seems like there's a lot of convenience there in terms of unifying or possibly becoming a champion, undisputed champion in the division, working with Top Rank. You see what I mean? So I think that Bob Arum understands that he has a lot of pluses on his side. You know what I mean? So he's like, all right, man, it ain't no different than like any other athlete that's testing the free market agency and just seeing, just seeing what's available out there. And, he's very confident that after he sees what's available out there for him to possibly get into, that he might possibly come back and they could lock him into another deal. Now, I think the only real competitor for, Top Rank at this point in time is Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn has been on a roll. You know what I'm saying? He's been, getting the, some of the best fighters in the world to sign deals with him and shit like that, or at least partner up with him. So, Bob Arum might be a little bit concerned about that. But Eddie Hearn at the same time had admitted that, he'll make a deal with Shakur Stevenson, but it has to make sense. Like, it has to be for a number that he feels like isn't breaking his pockets and is accommodating on both sides. So it's not like Eddie Hearn is saying he'll do whatever the fuck he can in his power to sign Shakur Stevenson. He says that he'll sign Shakur Stevenson, but only under the condition that it satisfies Shakur Stevenson and himself. You see what I mean? So if Eddie Hearn's not able to strike a deal with Shakur Stevenson, I really wouldn't be surprised if he goes back over the top rank and he continues to do his thing in the lightweight division and possibly get some big fights going. Whether, like I said, it's with Barincek, because Bob Arum, said that if Shakur Stevenson were to leave and not come back, he'll give that opportunity to Keyshawn. But if Shakur Stevenson, is able to re-sign with Top Rank and get a deal back going with them, I'm sure Bob Arum is going to have no problem giving Shakur Stevenson that fight, which will get him one step closer to lightweight supremacy. So, he might have his differences with Top Rank or feel like Top Rank didn't do like their best by him. However, the opportunities that Top Rank could possibly give Shakur Stevenson in this new deal could really be a game changer for his career. Like, let's say he were to go and he were to fight Barincek, and then he gets that one belt, and then he goes over and he fights the winner of Lomachenko and Gervonta Davis. And let's say he's victorious against whoever comes out victorious in that bout. Now you talking about somebody being undisputed in the lightweight division and being a 3-division world champion. You know what I'm saying? Then that'll open up so many more avenues and will take his stock to a whole different level. You know what I mean? I've seen his stock been like dwindling a little bit based off of his, previous, performances and shit like that. But for the most part, you know what I mean? Shakur Stevenson is winning. That's what matters most, more than anything. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just getting my charger because my laptop is about to die. So I'm just trying to get that situated real quick. But, I see what I'm saying all of this to say. I see exactly why, Bob Arum is confident in getting his fighter back, Shakur Stevenson. And in all honesty, the reason why I have wrote in the title that Bob Arum is successfully manipulating Shakur Stevenson, because Shakur Stevenson was extremely satisfied with what he heard, and he expressed it on social media. Let's get into the tweet that Shakur Stevenson has said right here. He said, Shakur Stevenson's never really been too disrespectful about Bob Arum. It seems like he talks about Bob Arum in a good light a majority of the time. Like besides the shirt he had on where he was like, Bob Arum is saving his son from this ass whooping, referring to Lomachenko. But for the most part, he's never really said anything bad about, Bob Arum too much. You see what I'm saying? Let's get into exactly what he said right here. And Shakur Stevenson said, Bob Arum kept it real about my fight. That's 100. You know what I'm saying? Then he went on to put the 100 emoji. So it seemed like he was really content with what Bob Arum said. And Bob Arum said that he didn't really see the problem with the fight, and he thought that he looked great. So, Shakur Stevenson is very capable of accepting positive criticism. You know what I'm saying? Not negative criticism, but positive criticism. You feel what I'm saying? So, it seems like he's feeling what Bob Arum is saying right now. And, I guess Shakur Stevenson is that type dude that if you say positive things towards him, he'll look at you as like a real nigga or somebody that he could really fuck with. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? Maybe Bob Arum is saying this strategically to get Shakur, try to get in Shakur good graces, because he understands that Shakur Stevenson is one of the best fighters in the world. And if Shakur Stevenson is on the, is in the process of getting one of the biggest fights made in boxing between him and Gervonta Davis, I'm sure Bob Arum wants a piece of that. He wants to be a part of those big events, because if he's able to lock in one of the biggest fights to be made in boxing, he's going to get a pretty nice check off of it. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about some of the biggest fights to be made in boxing, you're talking about David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez. You're talking about Artur Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol. You're talking about, I believe this is a part of the list, Terrence Crawford versus Jaron Ennis. You see what I mean? And this fight might be a little bit higher up than that. And that's Shakur Stevenson versus Gervonta Davis. It's one of the biggest fights to be made in boxing. You think Bob Arum don't want no parts of that? Shit, you crazy. Regardless of how he feels about Shakur. He said he likes Shakur, but let's say he lying. Whether he likes him or not, there's no doubt in my mind that, Bob Arum wants to take part in that type of fight. Because, if Bob Arum is able to lock in this fight with Gervonta Davis, That's a good little check he's gonna get off of Gervonta Davis in the Lomachenko fight, and then following shortly afterwards, he could get a check off of Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis. But, Bob Arum gonna be eating off of these fights, man. You see what I'm saying? So I see exactly why Bob Arum is moving how the way he's moving, or taking the approach that he's taking with Shakur Stevenson, because he understands that if he says positive things about Shakur Stevenson, it might open up Shakur Stevenson to really think about re-signing with Top Rank, because he's that easy to manipulate. If you say negative things about Shakur, most likely you're gonna get him in his feelings and he's gonna attack you. But if you say positive things about Shakur, you may possibly get on his good side, and he might, you know what I mean? He might think about giving you another opportunity. You see what I'm saying? So that's my overall take on this whole situation, man. I want to see exactly what you guys think. Glizzy said, what if Twitterson resigns? I mean, if he resigns, then hopefully Bob Arum is able to come through on his word and get on some opportunities in terms of attempting to trying to become the top dog at the 135-pound division. If he resigns with Top Rank, there's no reason why that Barancek fight should not happen for Shakur. I think I heard Barancek talking shit about Shakur Stevenson. So why not? Why not? Let's see that fight happen. If not, you know what I mean? The first fight back, if William Cepeda and Golden Boy got the nuts to do so, then that fight should be taking place. Why not? We should see him against that style to see if Shakur Stevenson is really cautious against power punchers. William Cepeda is a power puncher, so let's see how he does against him. If he's able to dominate William Cepeda and simultaneously let his hands go, then that could lessen the damage on his reputation. So then he could go on, unify with Barancek, get that belt, and possibly wait on the winner of Vasil Lomachenko versus Gervonta Davis. Shit, that sounds like a good ass fucking deal that Bob Arum could put together. You know what I'm saying? But nothing is guaranteed. You know what I mean? But it just seems like Bob Arum got the best opportunities for Shakur Stevenson if he's looking to become undisputed in the division. That's just my personal opinion. You see what I mean? So if he re-signs, hopefully Bob Arum gets some opportunities that I'm sure he's going to promise Shakur Stevenson. Mark, did you see Coach Kenny say he offering Shakur $6 million? I don't know how Coach Kenny could offer Shakur $6 million when he's not a promoter, and he's if we talking about Kenny Ellis, he's a boxing trainer. You know what I mean? So even if he has $6 million, I don't know if Coach Kenny does, but if he does, who the hell is he to put up $6 million for Shakur to do anything? Like I said, he's not a promoter, and he's not the one making these fights behind the scenes. So that's pretty confusing. I don't understand that. MB26 says, what's up with the Abdullah Mason dude? Why is he being compared to the greats when he's still on the come up? I just think that, like I said, when I spoke to that KO 86 dude, that he said that he feels like, he's passing the eye test. And, some fans, all they need is the eye test to really get the confirmation that they want out of a fighter. Me personally, the eye test doesn't do anything for me. I'm more of a show and prove kind of guy, and just letting the resume speak for itself. I don't big up guys too much when unless I've personally experienced them train and, fight themselves, like Jaron Ennis. You know what I'm saying? Jaron Ennis don't got the best resume, but I watched this man for years perfect this craft in the gym. So where everybody's seeing right now, I've been seeing since 2016, 2017. You know what I'm saying? So, the eye test don't really do too much for me. You know what I mean? I'm more of a show and prove. Who have you beat? What have you done for me lately type of dude. So, Abdullah Mason looks like the goods. He looks absolutely sensational. But comparing him to, the best in the division and stuff like that, I think people need to pump their brakes on that just a little bit. Not because I doubt Abdullah Mason at all. I think he's very capable of accomplishing those feats. But the reality of the situation is he's just not there yet. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you put a motherfucking let's say you put a cake in the oven or whatever, and you know what I mean. You got it under a certain temperature, you got it under a certain time frame that it should be done in, and it's like you taking it out like the cake. You know what I mean? It looked good. You know what I'm saying? You could tell that it's going to be good, but it's just not done yet. It just needs to be in the oven just a little bit longer. That's how I assess Abdullah Mason's career at this point in time. He's on the right track. He's doing everything that he needs to do. He always looks like he's prepared well, and he always looks like he's in top shape, and he always looks sharp. But you gotta continuously show how good you are. And slowly but surely, you're gonna have to start proving it against guys that you're not gonna be able to knock out with one shot. Guys that are gonna take you the distance. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he looks like the goods. He has potential to do some great things in boxing, but I'm not sold until he shows me something against somebody who's of quality. I don't think Abdullah Mason has fought anybody that's really caught my attention or made me feel like Abdullah was in any type of danger. You feel what I'm saying? Look at this dude. This motherfucker dude name. This nigga name is Blood Raven. He said Boots is the next Amaro bum to get exposed. Trust me, I'm twice your age. I don't give a fuck if you twice my age. That shit don't mean that you know more than me. The fuck? Don't y'all hate them old ass niggas that because they've been alive longer than you. They think they know more about something than you. Like, bro, I've been doing this shit my whole life. You know what I'm saying? You probably just started watching boxing with your old ass. You know what I mean? You probably been sitting on your couch so long. You found a little ESPN fight. You've been watching boxing ever since then. I don't give a fuck if you twice my age. That shit doesn't equate to anything. That don't mean that you more knowledgeable than me or that you've been around longer than me. You know what I'm saying? There's always them nut ass old heads that be like, yo, man, like I'm trying to tell you, man, like yo, like LeBron better than Jordan, man. Yeah, LeBron better than Jordan. Trust me, man. I'm 20 years older than you, man. Like, trust me when I say, nigga, I don't give a fuck. Jordan, LeBron ain't better than no fucking Jordan. The fuck your age got to do with your opinion? You think your opinion is so much more solid because you older? Like, I don't be understanding that shit. But regardless, for you to say that Boots is the next American bum, I think you out your fucking mind. And if you honestly feel like that, why don't you call for somebody to go and expose Jaron Ennis? If he's such a bum like you claim to be, who's gonna be the one to expose Jaron Ennis? And you saying Ameri bum, I'm assuming you not from here. So who from your country or whatever the fuck? No, it was just an example. The Jordan shit was just an example. Since you older, you should be able to keep up and understand that was just like a example. You feel what I'm saying? That wasn't like a real debate that I was having. You gotta catch up a little bit, old head. Based off of the Ameri bum statement that you said, I'm assuming you're not from here. So if you're not from here, and most likely you're a European or something like that, why don't you get your boy Conor Ben to, come up out the shadows and face Jaron Ennis and try to expose him for the American bum that he is, because that's what you called him, right? You see what I'm saying? Why don't you? Because I don't think you can name 3 fighters in Boots division that could defeat him. The only dude that you can make a strong case for beating Jaron Ennis right now is Terrence Crawford. That's really the only one. There's nobody else. Like, it's not even close. He's in a different stratosphere than these dudes in his division, but somehow he's in a hype job. And he's set to get exposed by who? Anyway, let's see what Boxing Film just said. He said, Mark, I swear I seen a tweet of Tank replying to a tweet about Mason saying no one better than him. What are the chances Abdullah a part of the deal? Very slim. You know what I'm saying? Very slim. I just think that Shakur Stevenson, Gervonta Davis is like on this 6 to 7 fight deal with guys who are currently at the top. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to take a little bit of time for Abdullah Mason to get to the top. I think by the time Abdullah is at the top or is at least like a name, like a star in the sport, I think Gervonta Davis will be wrapping up that 6 to 7 fight deal. You know what I'm saying? Look, he said Terrence isn't a part of his division, so try again. Yo, Blood Raven, does Terrence Crawford still have belts at the welterweight division? Has he made his debut in the 154-pound division yet? I know he set to fight Israel Madrimov, but has he had a fight at 154 yet? And does he still have belts in the welterweight division? Let me know. I would love for you to answer those questions. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you still hold belts in a particular division, you're still a part of that division. You know what I'm saying? And if you haven't debuted at a certain weight class, how can you say that you're a part of that weight class? There's no way I can call myself a 154-pounder if I have not stepped in the ring as a 154-pounder yet. Even if I got a fight date, you're not a 154 till you in the ring fighting at 154. The nigga ain't even have the weigh-ins yet. Like, relax. Romain Villa was definitely his size. Romain Villa is a huge welterweight, and he got chopped up. That's a great example. Great response to Sing. You know what you're talking about. Am I gonna watch the Bud card? Of course. That's a lit card, man. I'm not missing none of that. I ain't missing none of that. I might do a live, stream for that whole thing. Mark, do you think Bud is gonna get used to 154 quick? He looked like he's in pretty decent shape. You know what I mean? He looked like he's putting on the weight real well. It looked like he's acclimated to the division pretty well. He said he was struggling to make 47, so he should get comfortable in the 154 division quite quick. You know what I mean? It's an additional 4 pounds. However, this is his 4th weight class. You know what I'm saying? So, this might be, I'm not gonna say where he peaks at. It might take him a little bit longer to get acclimated to the weight in comparison to like when he jumped up to 40 and 47. You know what I'm saying? He's a little bit older now. So maybe, his body's not really growing how it once was at one particular time. So, I'm sure he could grow into the division, but it might take some time. It might take some time. Glizzy asks if I seen Bud dancing with his team, reacting to winning fighter of the year. Yeah, I saw that, man. It was absolutely dope. Bud got a dope team around him, man. Like when I did that interview with Bomac and he was telling me like their dynamic and everything that they got going on, it really reminded me of like the dynamic that I got in my gym with my fighters, my father, you know what I mean, his fighters. You know what I'm saying? It's dope, man. It's like being at, when you walk in the barbershop and there's all your homies that be there every time you come through and y'all having great conversation, y'all having good laughs, recalling great memories and shit like that. Like that's how it is at the gym, and it's like a brotherhood, man. It's like everybody's all in together. You know what I mean? Everybody look out for each other. Nobody hungry, nobody lacking. Everybody got good equipment and shit like that. It's really a brotherhood. You feel what I mean? And when Bomac was talking to me about that, man, it let me know he has a really good atmosphere behind him. And when you got a great team behind you like that, bro, and you really, well prepared, and you putting your all into this sport, and you still feel like you got something to prove, you really hard to beat. And that's who Terrence Crawford is. You know what I'm saying? He still got the hunger. You know what I mean? He's still approaching the game like he's the hunter. You know what I'm saying? Still, chasing the glory. You know what I mean? Chasing legacy. Because even though he say he looking for a big bag right now, he's still taking on a tough challenge that might have not been the biggest bag in Israel Madrimov. However, you know what I mean? Israel Madrimov is what, Terrence Crawford was willing to take on in order to make history and becoming a 4-division world champion. You got to respect that. So shout out to Bo. I'm going to try to bring him back on the platform pretty soon, man. And shout out to Terrence Crawford. I really hope that he does well against Madrimov. I think that he just watching that little bit of shadow boxing he was doing Andre Ward, Terrence Crawford's feet still look quick. His jab still look like it's sharp. So, Madrimov might be in trouble, man. But at the same time, Terrence Crawford is at an age where, he could look good in his previous fight and then just get old overnight. You know what I'm saying? I don't wish that on him at all. I hope that's not the case. I hope he beats the dog shit out of Madrimov. But this is boxing and anything could happen. We've seen crazier things happen in the sport. You know what I'm saying? Terrence Crawford. They was talking about how Terrence Crawford super nigga. They was like he drive a Monte Carlo. He got shot in his head and drove himself to the hospital. They were saying all these like crazy things about Bud. They say he deadlifted 400 with jeans on. They was like, yo, like Bud really a super nigga. And that shit really had me cracking the fuck up because, Terrence Crawford really is like one of the ones. Like he's just a different dude, bro. He's just a different dude. And they were saying how like, Earl Spence would never beat him in a rematch. Shit, I agree. You know what I'm saying? But that was just the one topic that I wanted to cover, with Bob Arum. I feel like he's successfully I feel like he's manipulating Shakur Stevenson in a way. I think he's speaking positive about Shakur Stevenson strategically in order to get on his good side in hopes that, he can ink a deal with him because as long as he's a part of Shakur Stevenson's career, that Gervonta Davis fight is bound to happen. And that's when Bob Arum going to ultimately cash out on one of the biggest fights to be made in boxing. I think it's just a smart business move on Bob Arum's end. I think he out here playing. I mean, you're not going to be in boxing this long and not be playing chess. You see what I'm saying? So that's the first topic that I wanted to cover now. We touching on Abdullah Mason pause. That was crazy. But we speaking on the Abdullah Mason subject right now, and it seems like everybody and their mom is talking about Abdullah Mason. It seems like everybody is drinking the Kool-Aid on Abdullah Mason. And I really want to see, based off of the 14 people that's in the chat right now, how do y'all guys rate Abdullah Mason? How do you guys rule Abdullah Mason? Do you feel like he's overrated at this point? Do you think that he's underrated at this point? Or do you think that he's rated fairly at this particular point in his career? Because, like I said, Abdullah Mason has been stepping on the competition. He's been looking sensational in the process of doing so. And I love the fact that, he's been staying active and, he just been putting his head down and working. You know what I'm saying? He just been on some humble shit, just working. You feel what I mean? You gotta respect that. I haven't even heard Abdullah Mason, speak out or even reply to these dudes that's been talking crazy about him. Because I see some cornball shit from Keyshawn Davis, man. It's like he just showed how easy he is. Like how, if you just say certain things that you could just get him out of character and just say some unnecessary shit. You feel what I mean? But let's look into these comments real quick because I did ask a question to the nation, and my boy Anonymous said, I think he among the best prospects in the game, but he does need to step up and prove like the rest of the greats. That was all I was saying. And when I was saying that, people was interpreting it as me being some type of Abdullah Mason hater. You see how that shit go? Like you just be like, yo, I just want to see a little bit more. And they be like, no, man, you hating, man. Like they want like these dudes nowadays, they like these boxing fans or whatever the hell you want to call them, fanboys. They want you to give them they want you to give their fighter credit before they even prove themselves, bro. That's not how that shit work. You know what I'm saying? Like when you getting something, if you getting something at the store, they're not gonna hand you the fucking, the candy or the sandwich or whatever the hell you getting before you give them the bread. No, it's an exchange. You give me the bread, you give that man the money, and they give you what the hell you paying for. You know what I'm saying? That's like they want the stripes before they earn them. Like I just don't get it. I don't get it. You see what I mean? And what's crazy is I'm sure Abdullah Mason agrees with us. I'm sure that he feels like he has more to prove, and he shouldn't be compared with like the top guys right now. He might feel like he's better than those top guys, but to be compared to them at this certain point of his career, I ain't fucking with it. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Crown Jewel Boxing TV. When rating Abdullah Mason, he says, very good, but untested, although Keyshawn put out false info about LeBron. He's not a 126 pounder. He's been at 140 for a while. Let's talk about that Keyshawn situation, man, because I was pretty disappointed in Keyshawn. I don't even know why I was disappointed, because in reality, like, Keyshawn's just an emotional dude, and it really don't take much for him to say some stupid shit, and it's really easy to manipulate his emotions. You know what I'm saying? And it just looked like Kenny Ellis was playing like the puppet master with Keyshawn Davis. You know what I mean? He was purposely, how can you say this? He was purposely like trying to get him mad. You know what I'm saying? He was just purposely trying to fuck with him, get under his skin. And Keyshawn Davis bit on it right away instead of just falling back and be like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, Abdullah Mason, one of my guys, you ain't about to do that. You know what I mean? He young on the come up right now. He hungry and, his time coming, but, he got a little bit to go before we can start talking about him being the number 2 guy and shit like that. I mean, if he would have said something like that, I would have respected it. Like, you know what I mean? That's some real shit. But, Keyshawn took the bait right away. Like, he knew that it was bait. He seen that it was bait. And he still bit on the motherfucker, man. You know what I mean? Anonymous said, hold on. Jordan Sheriff, shout out to the boy Jordan Sheriff. He said, every prospect almost looks as good as Mason on the come up. Now it's too early to make a judgment of his ceiling. I mean, yeah, I see what you're talking about. Do y'all remember Elvis Rodriguez on the come up, yo? Like around the pandemic and shit like that. Elvis Rodriguez was beating the dog shit out of everybody. He stopped the one dude with a jab, and he putting this other dude to sleep. And we like, God damn, like this Dominican dude look like he the truth. And then they stepped him up just a little bit with Kenneth Sims. You know what I mean? Like, Kenneth Sims is definitely talented. He's a hell of a fighter, but, he's not, in my opinion, amongst the elite just yet. You know what I mean? They stepped him up just a little bit, and he got stepped on. You know what I'm saying? The Top Rank released him afterwards and shit like that. It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like, you could definitely look like and a lot of people look like goods on the come up, and they turn out to be scrubs. And I don't think that's who Abdullah Mason is at all. I think that, like I said, I think he really the truth. You know what I'm saying? Anonymous brings up another good one. Joseph Adorno. Absolutely. Joseph Adorno was beating up on all these bums, and they was talking about how he gonna be the next Puerto Rican star. And then, you know what I mean? All of a sudden he's having trouble making weight, and he's dehydrated, and then he's getting draws against, guys who are not even B-level fighters. You see what I mean? And then, he drops fucking Jermaine Ortiz, I don't know how many times, and gets another draw. And, he just lost to an old ass Nicholas Walters not too long ago. It's crazy, bro. Yeah, I remember all the hype around Joseph Adorno, though. He from PA as well, so I've seen a few of his fights. I've been at a lot of his fights, actually, and I already know all the hype that was around Joseph Adorno. And he had a lot of people out there with the Puerto Rican flags and his logo everywhere. He definitely had the hype on his side for sure. You know what I'm saying? Glizzy says, boxing is a what have you done for me lately sport. Absolutely. Nah, Anonymous. Like I see what you're talking about, but I knew he was trash off the rip. Like I knew he was trash off the rip. Like I watched a couple of his fights, and I'm like, yo, this dude is garbage. Like they strictly signed him, you know what I mean, just to keep pushing the Ali image. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I feel like they did that shit as a favor, because I don't ever recall Nico Ali Walsh being like this decorated amateur or being an Olympian or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand that. So they did that shit just because, just to sell some tickets or to get some publicity, or just to bring Ali's name back in the picture, bro. Nah. I knew Ali Walsh was ass off the rip. Now I ain't gonna lie to you, he did get a little bit better since he debuted and shit like that. But regardless, what I mean, he definitely ain't no top tier fighter, in my personal opinion. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Anonymous. You're talking about the hype part. You absolutely correct. You absolutely correct. But there was a point in time where I was like, damn, Joseph Dorno, like he really making statements out here. Like he doing all right. I felt like off of the rip, Nico Ali showed a lot of flaws. And I'm like, all right, they gave him the right dude, so they're not gonna be able to make him pay for his flaws. But he didn't look good to me from the very beginning. So I already knew what type of time they was on with him. Joseph Adorno, he was just smacking people with hooks, and they was going to sleep and falling over. I was like, yeah, this dude looked like he could be a problem. Hold on, Mastermind in the building? Oh shit, my boy Mastermind in the building. He said Lomachenko would defeat Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson. Ooh wee. Talk about a hot. Oh shit. Well, I'll be watching the Jake Paul John Saturday. If I'm not out and about, I'm gonna definitely check it out. But I don't really be tuned in to Jake Paul fights all like that. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Like I don't be liking his opponent selection and shit like that. He always like it's clear what Jake Paul be doing, man. Like, and people don't be really seeing it. They be like, oh, well, he's actually fighting professional fighters this time, bro. He's fighting bum ass pros with built up records. You know what I mean? Prior to that, it was all old, like, over the hill UFC fighters that just threw on some fucking boxing gloves, and, TikTokers and basketball players. Like, really, bro? Like, this is what I'm about to spend my weekend doing. Like, that's how I'm gonna spend my Saturday night, watching him beat up on Mike Perry. Mike Perry going to sleep, my nigga. Jake Paul gonna hit him with a clean John, and he's not gonna respond well. He's not. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, he gonna fight an old ass Mike Tyson. And you know what I mean? I think Deontay Wilder expressed his concerns about Mike Tyson, like I've been doing. You know what I'm saying he too old to get in the ring and shit like that. And Mike Tyson was like, oh, well, let me get knocked out then. I got bills to pay. When motherfuckers start talking about bills being paid and all that other shit, man, it just make me feel like you having financial trouble. I never heard Canelo Alvarez ever in his life say that he took a fight to pay bills. Like all these successful dudes, you don't ever hear them talking about, putting food on the table. That's not what Mike said, but when they be like, oh man, I gotta put food on the table, man. When people say shit like that, it sets off an alarm in my head that there's an urgency for money. That's what it seemed like to me. So Mike talking about paying bills and shit. It's like, Mike, are you doing all right with financially? Are you doing well financially? Because it seems like Mike Tyson got his hands on a lot of things. Like he got like his own cannabis. I think he got like a marijuana farm or whatever the hell you call it. And he had a real successful podcast that was doing a lot of views. So I'm sure the money was doing well with the YouTube revenue and shit. So I'm thinking that he doing all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure Mike Tyson could, take on like any type of endorsements or, I'm sure that there's like autograph signings and all types of things that he could get into that could get him paid. But, for him to bring up the idea of making money or paying bills when bringing up, possibly getting knocked out by Jake Paul, that's kind of alarming to me. You know what I'm saying? Let me see exactly if I could find a quote. I think Michael Benson put it up on his page. Let me see real quick. Oh, okay, this is it right here. So Michael Benson, this is Mike Tyson's quote. So the whole thing is Mike Tyson on Deontay Wilder saying he's concerned about him because he's too old to fight Jake Paul. He said, and this is Mike Tyson's quote, that let Mike get hurt. You don't have to worry about paying my bills. Everyone says this makes no sense, but he's how old? He's not who I am. He can't go to Mongolia and have somebody know who the fuck he is. Now, I don't know what the hell that last statement had to do with the initial like part of the quote. But regardless, I don't know. I could think that was a little flex right there. Like Tyson, like, yeah, man, I could go to Mongolia and people know who I am. How about you, nigga? That literally had nothing to do with what the hell the topic or the question was about. But regardless, you know what I mean? He's pretty much saying that let me get hurt then. You don't gotta worry about paying my bills. So he's saying I have to worry about paying my bills, even if it means me getting hurt. Just based off of what I'm seeing, I'm just thinking about this shit logically. So it is kind of alarming. You know what I mean? I don't like it. As soon as that fight was announced, I expressed my concerns. But there's people that are genuinely like believing that Mike Tyson has a chance against Jake Paul. You know what I'm saying? Or they think that Mike Tyson gonna turn the clock back and be the Mike Tyson that he was in his early 20s, bro. That's not how this shit work. Do y'all understand that as y'all get older, your athleticism goes away, your speed goes away, hand-eye coordination goes away. Your I said hand-eye coordination. Your reflexes go away, and your punch durability drops significantly. The punches that you take at 20 years old, you're not taking when you're 60 years old, dog. Like you not. You know what I'm saying? Have y'all ever seen like old people like fight like online and shit like that? They get hit with little shots and they go down and shit like that. Mike Tyson ain't no different. I don't give a fuck what his history is. That's a 60-year-old man who was just walking around a UFC event a few months ago with a cane and had to do an emergency landing on a plane because he had stomach ulcers. Now, trust me, I have ulcerative colitis. You know what I'm saying? I know how ulcers feel. That shit don't feel good. For him to be having stomach ulcers, they say it's usually caused by stress. You know what I mean? So Mike probably got a lot going on and his body breaking down from the training, and he probably can't keep up with it. Probably can't keep up with Jake Paul. You know what I mean? Who could be under any type of performance enhancement drugs, which I've been believing he has been for a while, which I think is why he be ducking these drug tests. But regardless, he's not able to keep up with Jake Paul, man. I think he said Mike Tyson technique is good. Yeah, Mike Tyson, bro, it's Mike Tyson, bro. Like his technique don't go anywhere. You see what I mean? This is another thing. When Mike Tyson is hitting these pads, he's gonna look sensational on them pads all the time. You know why? Because pads don't hit back. And pads are, for the most part, are choreographed. You know what you're gonna punch way before you throw the punch. It's not like pads are not like a reactionary thing where you're just doing things off of the fly. They telling you what combinations to throw, and y'all drill it over and over again until y'all get it right. Pause. You feel what I mean? A lot of people could look good on the pads. I could go to Puerto Rico right now, pull up on Tito Trinidad, and do pad work with him. This man ain't fight since 2008. So it's been 16 years? And I bet you he'll still look sensational on the pads. Guaranteed. He would look sensational on the pads. You know why? Because they have the technique. So they're knowing of like the punches they throw and how to throw them. So if you got pads in front of somebody that's not able to hit that person back, they're gonna look sensational. Do you know how many motherfuckers that I've seen at amateur shows, professional shows that look sensational on the pads, and then when they get there in the ring, they look like dog shit? I see it all the time. Jordan Scherer said Jake Paul been juice boxed for a minute. That's a fact. You see his long ass chin, and he be trying to cover it with his beard, and he got all that definition where like his eyebrows are. Bro, he's clearly on some type of performance enhancement drugs, and they've been talking about it for a while. And Jake Paul ducks those accusations like no other man. He act like motherfuckers don't be saying it. He purposely ignores them. He's clearly on it, bro. He's trying to, he's looking for an advantage because he started off late and he really wants to prove that he has a he's an insecure dude, bro. He's 0-1 against actual boxers. Really think about that shit. And then they want to say those last two guys that he fought, one was like 12-1 and all. They want you to believe that those guys are real deal boxers. Let me see right here. It says, yeah, but the side step work, the side, the weave, and all the other stuff. Man, listen, dog. That's all choreographed, bro. That's all choreographed. A lot of these pad work routines that you see online are practiced before they post it online. Like Mike, he understands boxing. You know what I mean? As long as he can move his legs, and you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm not saying that. I mean, he looked slow or anything. Like he looked good on the pads, but how did he look when he fought Roy Jones? Did he look like how he looked on the pads when he fought Roy Jones in that exhibition? They was talking about how them niggas look like two drunk ass uncles at a barbecue. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know, man. It's gonna be a sad day though, man. Like when Jake Paul fight Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson run into a shot and he don't respond well, and Jake really go out there trying to kill that man. The whole boxing world gonna be sad, bro. And everybody gonna be he carried Jones. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Stop it. Roy Jones was fucking holding him at. Mike Tyson was trying to knock Roy Jones the fuck out. And Roy Jones was on his bicycle tying him up. You know what I'm saying? Nah, he ain't carry him at all. Mike Tyson was looking for all these one-shot knockout punches, and that shit wasn't working. Lunging into punches, falling over. Roy would tie him up, they'll reset. That's literally how it went each and every round. You said, nah, Jake clean up, don't see his VADA. So Jake Paul, he's enrolled in VADA? Yeah, Ralph not exaggerating. This ain't no cap. He said, bro, Jake literally fought an Uber driver his last fight. His opponent had a profile on the app. Yeah. I just hope Jake be paying these dudes well, where they don't got to do Uber and shit like that. I hope that, he ain't making all this money, you know what I mean, knocking them out, and then they coming home with like 100,000 or something. I really hope they getting paid well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he look like a tired old man in that Roy Jones exhibition. You know why? Because he's a tired old man, bro. Orlando Finney, he says, you're right, Mark. I'm 53 years old right now. I used to box when I was 19 years old. I get on the heavy bag right now and I look good. But if I were to get in a ring with a decent boxer, I'm sure he's going to carry on with that. I'm assuming that he's saying that if he get in the ring with a decent boxer, that, he'll have a little bit of trouble. And that's absolutely fine. Father time catches up with everybody. You know what I'm saying? But, these are things that we can't ignore. Like this dude, Mike Tyson, he's not a superhero, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's not who he was. A lot of people are caught up, or they're being optimistic about him, turning back the clock and, actually whooping on Jake. Bro, How old is Mike? Like 57, 58? Let's check out how old he is. He's 58 years old, bro. So he just turned 58. So he'd be 58 years old when he fight Jake Paul. And Jake Paul is probably like 28. Let me see. He's 27. So Mike Tyson is literally 31 years older? He's 31 years older than Jake Paul. He was alive for 31 years before Jake Paul was even fucking born. You see what I mean? So you mean to tell me that Mike Tyson reflexes are going to be on point? His hand-eye coordination is going to be on point. His speed will still be there. His pop, like his timing will still be there. Come on, man. Yeah, your punch durability still going to be there. Those punches he was taking when he was active in his boxing career, he's going to be able to take them now. And Jake Paul hits him with a flush right hand, the same right hand that's been knocking people to fucking kingdom come. You think a 58-year-old Mike Tyson is going to be able to take that shot from him? When Jake Paul damn near been dropping everybody he'd been fighting. That's a strong-ass white boy right there. You think that Mike Tyson going to stand up to that shot at 58 years old? Or you think he going to do what old niggas doing, taking that? I got to think about this, y'all. Shout out to my boy Singh with the $5 super chat. He says, who do you think Boost's biggest threat is at 154 besides Bud when he moves up? It's actually a great question, man. You definitely got to take into consideration, guys like Jermell Charlo. You know what I'm saying? I understand that he's been stripped of all his belts, but I still think he's, one of the top guys in the division. I just think he's been very inactive. Let me see. Really looking over the division at 154 besides Bud. I mean, I guess you could say like Sebastian Fundora because he brings something different to the table, being 6'5", 6'6", being a high volume guy, just being a rough, aggressive fighter. I'm sure Boots would still beat him. But, maybe that style in itself will give, Boots some trouble initially. But, like Erickson Lubin, Tim Tszyu and all them, I don't really see any of them dudes, really giving them a lot of stuff. I don't really see them, giving them much trouble. I think that Boots stylistically has an advantage over a lot of those dudes. Crown Jewel says Virgil Ortiz. Yeah, Virgil Ortiz is a threat for sure. He punches hard. He throws with bad intentions. He got a good engine on him as well. You know what I mean? It seems like he gets stronger as the rounds go on, and he's relentless. You know what I'm saying? But, Virgil Ortiz does get reckless on defense. They could run into some shots from Jaron Ennis. So, you know what I'm saying? That's something we got to pay attention to. But, yeah. For sure, Crown Jewel. I agree with you 1,000%. He's definitely a threat. Virgil's a threat to anybody. You know what I mean? Just like what he presents on his own, he could give anybody at 54 problems. But, I think Boots comes out on top in that one. I think at 47 or 54, I think that Virgil will be defeated by Jaron Ennis. You know what I mean? But that's actually a really good question to sing. Who do you think is the biggest threat? I want to hear your thoughts as well, man. Fundora, he provides a totally different, outlook in comparison to everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Bro, if Jordan Scherer says right here, he's replying to Ralph, of course. He said, I swear as soon as Mike gets stopped, watch them act like this disapprove. They're going to do that. They're definitely going to disapprove. But, more than anything, people are going to be upset. They're going to be disappointed. You know what I'm saying? They going to be so, like, they're going to be so pissed off. And they ain't got nobody to be mad at but themselves because they was the one that encouraged this fight to happen. Instead of being outraged and boycotting it, you know what I'm saying, trying to get that fight canceled, bro, y'all encouraged the fight. Y'all said that Mike was gonna fuck Jake Paul up. Y'all didn't take the reality of the situation into consideration. And now that fucking, Mike Tyson has slept on this canvas, head bouncing off the canvas and shit. Now y'all want to sit here and protest. It's too late for that. He done knocked the rest of the brain cells out of Mike Tyson fucking head. It's too late for that. But we'll see. We'll see. Anonymous said, honestly, I think Boots versus Virgil is Boots versus Vila Bart too. Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. I think that Virgil is a little better than Vila in terms of like output. You know what I'm saying? I think he's quicker with his punches and shit like that. But for the most part, stylistically, yeah, I see Boots picking Virgil apart. And I think he'll really do a lot of damage to Virgil, honestly. Because Virgil don't got no choice but to come forward. You know what I mean? And he gonna be running into jabs, combination punches. I think Virgil will be missing a lot because a lot of them shots that Virgil throw, he don't really set up. He just be looking for that. He just be looking for them bombs, man. I think Boots will completely school him and punish him in the process. Jermel and Boots might be a war. I would love to see that, bro. That's a fucking good fight. I'd have loved to have seen Jermel and Crawford, man, but it's Jermel fucking blew that shit, man. Taking that Canelo fight was a fucking waste of time. It was really a waste of time. In the meantime, you could have seen all those fucking big fights happening in the 154 division, but he moved up 2 weight classes and put on a shit show, bro. Shout out to my boy Orlando Finney with the $10 super chat. He said, "Are you gonna watch that Jake Paul versus Mike Perry fight Saturday? And if so, who do you have?" I think Jake Paul gonna stop Mike Perry early, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Mike Perry is the motherfucker's a punching bag, bro. Like I understand he doing this thing in bare knuckle and shit like that, but come on, man. This dude, he has zero boxing knowledge, man. He don't got any type of IQ in there. And Jake Paul been working, man. He been looking good on the pads and shit like that. Look like he's understanding his range real well. And I can see Mike Perry running into a straight right hand and going to sleep, bro. I could really see that happening. You see what I mean? But in terms of me watching it Saturday, it depends on what I got going on. Cause like I said, I'll be looking at these Jake Paul events as like circuses, man. I do support Amanda Serrano, so I do want to see her fight. You know what I mean? I might pull out the phone and just watch the fight from the phone or whatever. But I gotta see, man, because I might step out Saturday, and it's not guaranteed that I'll be sitting there giving you guys like a live fight reaction to Jake Paul, Mike Perry. I'm not guaranteeing that at all. What I can guarantee though is when Terrence Crawford and Israel Madrimov fight, Ryo and Pitbull, we definitely on the live stream and we definitely giving our reactions and our live commentary in the process. So be on the lookout for that live. But going live or just watching a Jake Paul fight in general, I'm not too optimistic about it. I don't know if I'm going to follow through with that, my brother. I ain't going to lie to you. Legendary Ant says, "You see Bud fight, not selling at all." I didn't see that. That's not shit that I don't really care about that type of shit. And like that's not conversations I really take part in. You know what I'm saying? I don't really sit here and be like pocket watching or like, you know what I'm saying? I don't really be sitting here clocking people's sales. I just be worried about whether the fight good or not. You know what I'm saying? And where the fuck I could watch it. You see what I mean? I don't really be caring about, ticket sales. But if it's not selling at all, that's unfortunate. You said I would love to see Jesus Ramos and Boots, but I don't think Ramos' team would take that fight. I think stylistically, Boots is all wrong for Jesus Ramos, bro. Like Jesus Ramos, he's big and strong, aggressive. He could crack and shit like that. Like I think he did Joey Spencer so dirty, but and I think he beat Erickson Lubin. But Boots is a totally different animal, man. I think he'll light Jesus Ramos up, but I think that'll be an action-packed fight for as long as it lasts. You see what I mean? Virgil, another one whose prospect stage has everyone judging his ceiling way before any legitimate acid test. Okay. Yeah, it was definitely gassing Virgil, you know what I'm saying? But one thing about Virgil, bro, he don't mind taking them big fights though. You know what I mean? Those fights ain't never come together like the Stanionis ones and shit like that, or even the Tim Zoo one, but he accepting them as they come. I mean, Virgil ain't no pussy, so he obviously believe in himself. So you gotta respect that. Like, even though those fights didn't go through, it was out of his control. He initially accepted them. You feel me? Well, Legendary Ant, let me tell you this. I was actually talking to somebody. I'm not gonna say who it was, but they had a conversation with Jerron Ennis the day after the fight and Bozy the day after the fight. And they were both speaking about how, you know what I mean, they might run it back in Philly again around October or November. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't sure exactly where the location was at, but hearing from the conversation that Boost and Bozy had with, you know, a good friend of mine, real reliable source, it seems like don't hold me to it. It's not confirmed, obviously, but they saying October, November they bringing the fight. They bringing Jerron Ennis back to Philly. So be on the lookout for that one. So you know what I mean. If they say that a few months down the line, then you'll know who said it first. You see what I'm saying? But I mean, like I said, nothing confirmed yet. But that's what Boots and Bozy are thinking as of right now. Did you think Ramos got robbed versus Lubin? I thought he did enough to win, but I did think it was competitive. You know what I'm saying? Like Lubin was boxing and he was doing some good things in there against Ramos, but I felt like Ramos. I would have to go back and watch it again, but I just remember feeling like Ramos had more moments. It almost reminded me of like Chris Colbert and fucking Rayo Venezuela in the first fight. Yeah, man, it's kind of what it reminded me of. But I'll have to go back and watch it again because it's been a while since I checked that fight out. He said, "You think had Jamel not taken the Canelo fight, that the August Saudi card could have been Jamel versus Bud instead of Bud versus Majumov?" That's very well possible. The thing is, we'll never know. That's the thing. We'll never know because Jamel, chose a Canelo check instead of doing what he do best, and that's fighting at 154. Singh says, "How soon do you think we get an announcement for Booth's next fight?" I have no idea, but if it's like October, November, they probably gonna give it like a good, 6 to 8 week promotion. So maybe 2 months before October or November. So maybe September, maybe August, September. Who knows? Maybe in the fall you'll get an announcement, like the beginning of the fall. You know what I mean? That'll give, Matchroom and Eddie Hearn enough time to, really get their shit together and promote properly. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? What you got? Who I got between Norman Jr. and Tiafimo? I'm gonna have to really watch Norman a little bit more because usually like when these fights get made and stuff like that, what I would do is I'll sit in my living room and just like watch, fights from the dude, pick up their defensive tendencies, their offensive tendencies, what they do right, what they lack in, and shit like that. And I already know Tiafimo very well. I'm very understanding of who he is as a fighter. So, uh, it's pretty much just me sitting down and just studying Brian Norman. You know what I mean? And seeing who has the better qualities, who could take advantage of what. Then I can make my prediction from there. You know what I'm saying? So, obviously Tiafimo is the more experienced dude. I feel like Brian Norman just had one good statement. He's been on the scene since then. So, but then again, Tiafimo, who, power hasn't really translated to 147, is moving up an additional 7 pounds against a significantly bigger dudes who probably absorb his power a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? So if his power is not able to hold him up, what exactly is gonna, get these dudes respect? It's all good questions, y'all. All good questions. Ralph said Tio might be able to outbox Norman. Shit, that's possible. I just like I said, I gotta tighten up on Brian Norman just a little bit more before I, come up with my answer. Jordan Sheriff, he said Paul Williams or Sergio Martinez at 154 versus Boots. How do you think he does against those two styles? Uh Paul Williams, I think that Erislandy Flores fight that he had was very telling. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like Paul Williams could get outboxed. You feel me? Like Paul Williams, obviously he was a problem. You know what I'm saying? He was heavily avoided at the peak of his career and shit like that. But I don't know. I could see Boost styling on Paul Williams, Sergio Martinez, though, that might have been a little bit more of a difficult fight, but that's, man, I would love to ask my father this question. I would love to ask my father that because that was more of like, obviously I watched them dudes and I'm aware of who they were, but for me to say that, like, I remember they fights on the come up. I was a kid when these dudes was fighting, bro. So like I would have to sit, like I said, I would have to sit back, watch a little bit before I come up to a conclusion. And I want to see Boots' career pan out just a little bit more before we throw him in fantasy fights. That's just me personally. What you think, Jordan? How you see those matchups going on? Because based off of you putting this out there, I'm sure you thought about it. So, what you think about those fights overall? Like, I feel like I think Paul Williams got exposed against Landy Lara that, despite, somebody being smaller than him, they could very much outbox him. And I think that Boots is intelligent enough to, run Paul Williams into shots, hurt him. Because I feel like every time Lara hit Paul Williams, he hurt him. You know what I'm saying? He said Boots stops Paul and wins a close decision with Sergio. Shit. That's what Legendary Ant said. I think he beats Paul Williams for sure, though. Marky Dan, what up? I'm gonna take like two more questions. Then I'm gonna get up out of here, y'all. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love to the live. You see what I'm saying? You said Paul is like for Endura. Yeah. I see what you're saying. High volume, tall, pressure fighters. Yeah. But like not the most like intelligent fighters, like but they were effective. What fight are you most excited about this weekend? Shit, Amanda Serrano fight, I guess, because depending on how she does in this fight, it sets up the Katie Taylor fight that I've been wanting to see for a while now. You know what I'm saying? I thought Katie Taylor got a gift against Amanda Serrano, so I need to see them run it back. Yeah, like Sergio Martinez was athletic, bro. He was athletic and he definitely had crack too, so you had to be careful with him. Like he didn't do a lot of things conventionally from what I remember. So yeah. A sing with another great question. I sing we asking some good ass fucking questions. He said, "Do you think Eddie Hearn will make Boots versus Ben, or are they only focusing on the guys with the belts?" Well, Bozy Ennis, Jerron Ennis, they made it clear that they really want the unification fights. You know what I mean? But Eddie Hearn, I'm sure he could sneak the Conor Ben fight in there because this is what it is at the end of the day. I feel like Conor Ben was doing real well in the UK. I mean, he was getting his name was getting his name up there and shit like that. But once he tested positive for performance enhancement drugs, it really ruined his career in terms of maintaining activity in the UK and shit like that. So now he's fighting in the States and shit like that. Eddie Hearn probably feels like he can't generate no money off of Conor Ben in the States. And, because he's not allowed to fight in the UK, Eddie Hearn don't really got much use of him. So considering the fact that, he might not have much use of Conor Ben no more, he might just cash him out. You know what I'm saying? That he might just cash him out with Jerron Ennis. You feel what I mean? So don't be surprised. You said, wasn't Sergio Martinez going to fight for a title? When? Recently? I think that he was like in a title eliminator recently. I haven't been really keeping up with him, man. I ain't going to lie to you. Shout out to my boy Jordan Rules. This is going to be my last question. He said, yo, Mazuma, you seen Andre Ward back in the ring? Of course, it's been years since Ward has fought, but I prefer Canelo fight Ward over Berlanga because we know Canelo is ducking Benavidez. Oh yeah, absolutely. We all know he ducking Benavidez for sure. Any nigga that asks for 200 mil to fight somebody is somebody who's genuinely concerned about that individual. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, yeah, I seen Andre Ward, shadow boxing. You know what I mean? Training a little bit, doing some technical sparring with Bud and shit like that. It's dope to see. You know what I mean? But Andre Ward, he's been known for doing that. Like, training with guys and helping them out, just trying to keep them motivated, keep their spirits up. Uh, boxing had a little series called Contender, and they did one like a couple years back, and Andre Ward was sparring the guys that, you know what I mean, that was in the gym. That was like a part of that, Contender series, and it was pretty dope to see. So I'm not thinking too much of it. I think Andre Ward is completely done with the sport of boxing. So I'm not really seeing him making any comebacks. I just think that he was being a friend, a supportive, friend, and was like just giving him some tips. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. I didn't really dive too deep into it. You know what I mean? But if he were to fight Canelo Alvarez, that'd be pretty dope. But I don't think Canelo. I think Andre Ward is too calculated to take that long of a layoff, then just jump right back in there with Canelo. Andre Ward did a lot of things strategically. Like when he was moving up into the 175 division, he took a few tune-ups to get his body acclimated, and then he started going into the smoke. So I don't think that off of this long layoff, he'll jump straight into a Canelo fight unless the check is like so crazy that he will have no choice but to take it. But I don't know. Andre Ward don't come across as that type of dude. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if he would just take that payday and just say fuck everything else. You know what I mean? I think he's pretty content with how the way he's living right now. I don't think he can really be bought. You know what I'm saying? And in all honesty, if I'm Andre Ward, I'm preserving that 32-0 record. You know what I'm saying? That shit could really set me up for success later down the line. You know what I'm saying? Something to brag about, something to show off on the resume. You feel me? Yeah, Jordan, that's all I'm saying. Like, he's not gonna benefit off of Conor Benn how he wants to. He probably losing money on Conor Benn every time he get him to fight in the States, so he might just cash him out. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But all right, y'all, I'm gonna get up off of here, man. I've been on here for an hour and 20 something minutes. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. Hold on, I'm gonna ask. He said Warriors versus Hopkins at 168. Who you got? Well, Bernard Hopkins, I believe he skipped 168, so I don't believe he's ever fought there. But to answer your question, I always felt like Andre Ward was like a modified version of Bernard Hopkins. I just thought he was a little bit better than B Hop. You know what I mean? B Hop might be the more accomplished dude in terms of being undisputed and the long title range and shit like that. But I do think Andre Ward was just a little bit better than Bernard Hopkins. So I think Andre Ward would have edged Bernard Hopkins out. You know what I mean? Probably like, 7-5, 8-4, whatever the situation is. You know what I'm saying? In your opinion, Kovalev beat Ward? Yeah, it was a super close fight. I had Andre Ward slightly edging Kovalev in that fight. You know what I'm saying? But if you believe Kovalev won, I'm definitely not arguing that. But all right, y'all, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna catch up on this rest. I feel like I'm falling asleep while I'm talking to y'all. So, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take my ass to bed, get ready in the morning, because I got my last day of work for the week. So be on the lookout for some videos I'm gonna be putting out later on tomorrow afternoon, and be ready for my live that I'll be going on tomorrow night as well. But that's the end of my rant for the day, man. I hope y'all enjoyed the live. Hit the like button on the way out, of course. Share the video, like the video. Check out MazumaMerch.com, man. I got a new design on there. And if you put the code NATION, if you put the promo code NATION, you get 10% off on the entire website. Get you a coffee mug. Get you a motherfucking die-cut sticker. Get you a t-shirt, hoodie, sweatshirt. You know what I'm saying? Tank tops. We got it all on the website, man. Be on the lookout for that. Of course, I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love. I hope y'all have a blessed, beautiful night. I'm out of here, man. Peace.